All right. So
What up? What up? What up? What up?
What up, y'all?
Letters.
Minute Letter side quest.
Let's go.
Give you guys a little more content. So we're going to talk about the Dark Shift, which is from the Confessionals podcast, and this guy is talking about how these guys that he knows, including his little brother, they can shift into a different realm, aka the Upside Down.
The Upside Down, like Stranger Things?
Like Stranger Things, yeah. So it's Earth, but it's the opposite, and there's different dimensions of Earth, or different realms. Let's say we'll get out of dimensions because that's a whole nother thing. But different realms of Earth that they can go to, and kind of how they do it is that when you're lucid dreaming, they kind of take it beyond that to where they are remote viewing into another realm.
Oh, damn.
And some type of avatar that is there, another them, they remote view into that. So they're here, but their consciousness is there. So this is a story that this guy told. This happened in the here and in this realm. And they encounter something. He doesn't understand what it is, but the guy that he's with knows what it is. And we'll get into it here. So, and the reason why this guy knows what it is, I'll just spoil it, because he has seen it in the Upside Down. He didn't think it could get over here.
From the beginning, that night that things went down, what were you doing? Give us every detail you remember, and then move us into this whole experience with you and Ron.
Okay. So me and him.
Fair use, y'all. Fair use.
Finished our shift we worked at a restaurant. So it was like 2 a.m, maybe, or 1, something like that. And we were in my room. I was playing like Battlefield or something. And while I was playing, I kept asking him more details about this place and what he knew, and he would be like, "Oh, I'm not really gonna talk about it, whatever." So at one point he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go smoke real quick." So he was just gonna go up on his own outside, but I was like, "Oh, I'll chill with you," because no reason not to. So we go outside, and I had like a porch that was like cinder block walls on the porch, kind of. And so we were both like sitting on that, and while he was smoking a cigarette, not a drug. So
never ever.
Yeah, it was a cigarette. But so I, as he was smoking, I just looked up into the sky, kind of like up. There was a hill basically that I was looking up over, and there was just like a whitish, like pulsing light. It looked like a stadium light. I thought that's what it was, because there was like a little baseball field up there, and it looked like a stadium light, kind of just like pulsing in clouds, kind of. But it just stayed there. It didn't move, and it was bigger than it would have been if it was that stadium. It was a bigger light, and I was staring at it for like minutes, and he hadn't noticed it. And then I was like, has that light been there the whole time? And he was like, "Oh, I don't know. What, you want to go check it out?" And because that was kind of his vibe. He's kind of just like, go with whatever. And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we got into his car, and he's not from the area, so he did. So I was telling him like, "Oh, turn here," and we got into the car. The place I thought it was like 30 seconds from my house by a car. So I didn't grab shoes. I didn't have a phone, nothing. We just got in his car, and I guided him to where it was supposed to be. And there was nothing there. But the light stayed the same distance from us up in the sky. And it just like a constant, like pulsing every like a fade in, fade out, just pulse. Just nonstop, and it was big, like a bunch of stadium lights, all as one light up in the clouds. But it stayed the same distance from us. Anytime, like when we tried getting closer, it didn't look like it was moving. It just always moved with us. And we followed this thing out of the city, and on the edge of the city, it turns into like farmland and stuff. And he stopped the car at one point on a county road that we had taken. And we both got out real quick and just got up and looked at the light again. That was still just doing it never stopped doing what it was doing. It was just the same distance from us. But now we had there was just fields between us and it. And we both looked at each other like, what the fuck is this? And then on the other side of the field, there wasn't shit growing at this point. It was just like a field that didn't have a crop in it at the time. And from the other side of the field from us, there was this really weird, like a hyena sound, like a couple of hyenas or something like that is what it sounded like, or coyotes or something. But
I forgot it takes a while
those
to
are
get
not
to
there.
the point.
Those aren't in that area.
Wow.
And it sounded like they made some weird howly noise, and it sounded scary. It scared the hell out of me, and I guess him too, because we both looked at each other again and then just didn't say anything but dove back into the car, and it sounded like those whatever it was sounded like it was starting to come across the crop to us, like in the direction of us. So we jumped back in the car, and then but we took off and kept following the light further out of the city, because I don't know why.
So they kept following the light?
Yeah.
Then I think I was the one that noticed it.
Right.
Everywhere
That's
we were
right.
driving that we were following this thing, the ground was wet everywhere, but it wasn't raining anywhere. It was just this route that we were taking was always wet, and it was not a rainy night. Eventually, we got 20 minutes outside of the city, so a half hour from my house, and we were on another road, but now the county road was pointing in the direction of this thing, and it was a little bit closer than it had been, a little bit closer, and it just stayed there, and it felt a little different from how it had before. I don't know, it was just a little bit closer, and that was different for this. We were out of the car again, and my buddy who is normally very jokey and happy and
That's not
goofy.
That's not something we would do.
He was looking at this thing real
Not our
hard for a
people.
minute, and I was
Don't
looking
get
at
out your
him, looking
car,
back at the
man.
thing, because he
Right.
wasn't talking, and he always talks. And then he just looked at it for a second, and then immediately was like, "Get back in the fucking car."
Oh,
And I was
shit.
like, "What?" And then he's like, "Get in the car right now. We're going right now." And I was like, okay. So we got back in the car, and he spun around this road and then just took off the way we had come.
Hey, he was out of there, B.
And I looked in the mirror, and this thing was moving with us again, just following us at kind of the same pace. And then at one point, it looked like it was starting to gain a little bit. It was never close to us, but it was getting a little closer. So it was. I never thought it was right up on us, but it was closer than it had been. And he kept he was white knuckling the steering wheel. I remember, because it was freaking me out, because it wasn't how he normally acted. He was kind of hunched over the wheel, super tight, and he was looking at the mirror, looking at the road, at the mirror. And then he was kind of muttering to himself. He was like, how's it here? I don't know why it's here. What? I'm sorry. And I was like, dude, what is this? What are you talking about? And he's like, it's somehow it's here, and it found me, and I didn't mean for you to get involved in this. I'm sorry. And that's just, he just kept saying that over and over. And eventually I got him.
Bruh.
Well, I was freaking out more than him at this point, because I didn't know if we were in actual danger, because that's how he was acting. But he told me eventually, while we were still hauling ass back to the city, that this thing was an entity from someplace else that he had worked for a long time. And it wasn't supposed to be here, but it was here now. And it was after him, is initially what he had said. And that's insane.
Yeah.
So I thought he was messing with me. I thought this whole thing at this point when he started saying this,
fucking
I was sure
You're right.
that he was messing with me. Like this was some weird joke that he was doing or some I don't know. I thought it was a joke. So I was like, dude, just please stop. This is not funny. Just okay, it's done. Can we stop? And he was like, no, dude, I'm completely serious. Call my girlfriend and she'll back up everything I'm saying is what he kept saying. Cause he was just like, at that point he was done with talking and he just wanted to keep driving. So I called her again, very late, but we had all worked at the same shift. So she was still awake too. And I called her and all I said was, is it true? Is what he's saying true? And I didn't say what he said. And she said, oh, the thing. And she used the thing's name that he did. And then she was like, yeah, that's all true. And again, I didn't give her any information. He didn't talk. She just knew what was happening. And I was still freaking out. And I was like, please tell me, like, this was a coordinated thing. You thought it'd be funny to mess with me. You can stop now. Like, this was a whole thing, a weird joke, whatever. And she's like, no, it's a joke. It's not a joke. Do what he says. He'll make sure you're safe.
He did a Tim Walsh slip. It's not a joke.
And
no, it's a joke. It's not a joke.
So I stayed on the phone with her because at this point I knew her longer, so I trusted her more.
Man.
And I was still tight with him, but I had known her longer, so I was just more comfortable with her in this moment because I still didn't know if he was fucking with me. But we eventually got back to my house. She met us at my house. We parked in my driveway, and he said, I'll be back. And he just took the fuck off up one of the, I lived like on a steep hill. So there was like a couple hills that led into mine. And he took off up one of these hills so fast. It was faster than a person should be able to move. It felt like, or an Olympian or something.
Yeah,
he ran.
He's just a dude.
Yeah, peep that.
But he just took off into the dark, like there weren't really street lights there, so he was gone. And then I was just standing there with her, no shoes, in my driveway in the middle of the night. And I don't think I'd even hung up the phone when she was like still standing there. I didn't know what was happening. We just stood there for a minute. She didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. And then from an alley behind my house, there was this insane like scream thing sound that happened. Like, it's like something got ripped apart is how it sounded, like an animal or something was just destroyed real quick. And he walked out of that direction of that alley, and he was covered in this weird, I don't know if it was like a dark green or a black something, but it was like patches of it were all over his arms.
He's a witcher.
And his shirt, and
they needed him in
it was like all over him. It looked like dark blood. It was super dark. So I have a weird memory of it being like greenish, but it might have just been, I don't know. But he had this shit all over him. And for him to come out from where he was, or where he came out from, he would have had to sprint up a hill, up 2 hills, all the way around the block, and then come back in the direction of my house, and then do something, and then walk out of the alley. All in the span of like not long at all. And he walked out covered in this stuff. She never said anything. And I was like, what in the fuck is happening? Please tell me now. This is and all he was saying was like, I'm tired.
This is why I believe his story, bro.
That thing was put there
He's shook.
Dope.
by
This
the
is
entity.
fire.
Hell yeah.
I think it was here to watch you or to maybe catch me here. It was something like that, but it's gone now. And that's really all he said. And he was like, I have to go home. And so then they just drove home. Like while I was standing in the driveway, they just left.
We out.
I eventually later,
Have a
like
good night.
a long time later, he told me whatever that thing was there for me or my brother after he learned information. And he described it as like the only way that like a person could recognize it, I guess, was like sort of like a licorice entity, like made out of licorice.
The entity was like
The thing, not what we chased, but what he killed or whatever.
Yeah.
He said it looks kind of like black licorice, is what he was saying.
Like the body looks like black licorice?
Yeah. Like this thing just looks like that. So like black Twizzlers or something. I don't know. That was what he said, but he didn't say that for a long fucking time after. So all this happened in the span of like, I mean, I guess we were driving for like 45 minutes, an hour total. And it was just such a crazy shift between like just having fun, goofing off, following this light that was weird. And then I guess we were in danger. I still don't really know, but he did. And that was really all he told me.
Before we move forward
you got
into
me
the next
watching,
stages
bro?
of this story, let's just unpack a little bit of that first night.
What the fuck is
I want to make
this?
sure that everything's kind of laid out properly.
All right, I'm gonna
You
shut up.
see a light in the sky. It's pulsating. You guys chase after it. It continues.
Dude, I'm telling. We'll just keep watching it, man.
No, dude, we gotta talk. So this,
yeah, I mean,
so this dude, because you threw the premise up that this guy was traveling through his dreams, right? So
mhm.
that's the premise, y'all. And you're saying that through these dreams, he was able to gain some kind of powers and bring them back to reality. But
Yeah.
he brought back Lord Condor.
Lord Condor.
So no one, if anybody has ever watched, I don't think even Rashad was talking about. There's a show called Wonder Chosen back in the day,
No,
and they had these weird ass skits, and there's a skit called Lord Condor. I advise to never watch this show called Wonder Chosen. The show is made up. The devil is weird as shit, but yeah, we'll talk about it another day. We can probably do a show on that. Show was weird, bro.
Okay.
But anyways, so it brought back Lord Condor, and he was like, "We got to get to getting," and he took care of business. Like, did Lord Condor send a minion at this guy? Like, what the fuck happened?
He eventually gets into what the thing was, what his name was, and all that stuff. Like he said, I used to work for this entity.
So, can we like watch this like in segments, maybe? Because it's a 2-hour podcast. I think we need to watch the whole thing through, bro, and clip it up
and break it up
one day. Yeah, like maybe not like today. Obviously, we
don't have to do it today, but we'll set aside some time.
That's wild.
When I go through it. Yeah,
this
because
is fire.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg because that story, when you first hear that story, you're like, okay, that's crazy, right? Well, he gets more into what this thing is, what his name is, its relation to Baal, all that stuff, how his little brother's connected to it, who can do more, who's more powerful than what his connection is to it. Because you see that he is anonymous. He doesn't want people to see his face.
That puts probably us in danger.
Right. It's like he gets into like how bringing awareness to this thing puts people in danger.
Yeah,
especially himself. So,
but he can fight. He can fight it if he has to. Like he
was
he's
talking
got
about
some.
He was talking about his buddy. He's talking about his buddy.
He ain't got that. He ain't got that like that his buddy do.
He ain't got that. And the guy who's interviewing him, he's very honest. He's like, man, I wish we could get him. And he's like, that's who I wanted. He's like, nothing against you. We're cool, but I wanted him because he's the one. He's the expert in this. He's the one who's able to go to that other realm. He's the one that knows these entities. He knows how to do this stuff. You're just a person. He's a watcher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Should I rather be the guy in the arena too? Shit.
Yeah, he wanted. Yeah. I mean, from what he's able to do, it's crazy, bro. So we'll get into it, and you'll understand. Like when we watch it all the way through, again, it takes this guy. He goes over the river through the woods to tell the story, but I'm like that too, so I get it. But when he gets to the point of all his stories that he ends up telling in this podcast, you're like, holy smokes.
That's crazy, bro.
Way deeper than rap. Yeah.
And what I can't watch it by myself, and then we watch it like we're already like together on shit. So
yeah.
They just make a really good like series of it and make like a playlist of it. So it'd be kind of dope.
That'd be.
What I just heard was fire.
Yeah. That's fire. And again, like I said, that's just the tip of the iceberg. He gets. I mean, from witchcraft to monkeys, evil monkeys,
monkeys.
Yeah, evil monkeys. Yeah,
evil flying monkeys.
I don't know I can't remember them able to fly, but they can get around. They can get around. So, and the upside down, you know what I mean? So, it's crazy, man. So, again, it's a dark shift. I believe I texted to you.
Yep.
Last
Dark
night.
Shift Confessional. Shout out to this show, man. That shit. Yeah. We're definitely have to break this down because that right there was pretty cool. I'm not trying to like hype it. Like I thought it was. This dude took off and he said, for him to get to where he got, it would have been up 2 hills and basically like this dude. So I'm already breaking down. Homie lives somewhere in San Francisco or like in the Bay Area.
Nah, they're in the Tennessee area.
Oh,
they're Tennessee. Yeah, they're somewhere in Tennessee. From what I understand, they're somewhere in Tennessee. And
like Knoxville area is very hilly.
I can't remember. They're in a rural area though.
Oh.
Yeah, they're in a rural area. So, but that guy, so the guy interviewing him, he's been to his house. He's like, that hill that goes up, but he's like, yeah. He's like, wait, how did he do that and that fast? And at one point he says, so wait, he was like Captain America? They're like, was he running like as fast as Captain America? The dude was like, yeah. He was like that. Like he's on some Captain America shit. Yeah. Yeah. And then they get into
fire.
What they also get into, because he actually physically got to see it happen for real one time. Yeah, that Rod guy he's talking about, Ron.
Yeah,
he got to see him physically change.
What do you mean physically change? Like fight something? What do you mean? What?
He changed his whole body, like stretched out, and he became, and another entity took over. And I forgot the entity's name, but another entity took over, it was occupying dude's body while dude was in the upside down taking care of some shit, and he was in there for like. He was occupying that dude's body for like half an hour. And then when dude got done taking care of his shit, he shrunk back down to his regular self and went on about his business. I'm telling you, you gotta watch it, bro. You gotta watch it. These niggas can shape shift.
That shit, like I don't see. Well, here's the thing about me, mental letters. I want people who are audience. I'm into all that shit. Like that shit. You're telling me, like, look, it sounds like it's dangerous, but I would dabble. I would dabble with some powers a little bit.
If I can get into the upside down, man, and gain some abilities,
if I can get out of there, shoot,
yeah,
I'll try it.
Yeah. I would fox with it, man. But I don't know. You gotta listen to the whole story. And
Yeah, for sure. I'm joking.
Done listen to that story, but I still would have. Like, I mean, but apparently they went through some things because I guess what he said. He said that his consciousness is older than the body that it contains because time works different in those different realms. Like, you know, you and I were talking yesterday. Like a month is like a year there, or something like that.
But hey, y'all, that was a snippet of that. What was it called again? I apologize.
That was called Dark Shift, and
Shift,
and it is from the Confessionals podcast.
So check them out, and we are definitely gonna have to do a breakdown. 2 hours. So if we're gonna break it down, we're gonna need like a playlist of that. So that was fire though. Like so. Yeah, bro. We're gonna have to get into that. That nigga, like I was with it the whole way too. I was with the light, well, yeah, whatever. Yeah. And you had give a little summary, but I'm like
how did that connect?
How did that connect? And then they got to where the light was, and he said, "Oh, like the whole like he said it shifted." That's what got me, like, because it was just they were chasing this light. It was cool. It was like some UFO shit.
Right.
And then it shifted. But boy, that shit. And the girlfriend was like, "Yeah, nah, just listen to him."
Yeah, it's all real. It's all real. He mentioned her a little bit more too in the podcast. They talk about some crazy stuff that happened that she's seen him do. So, not his girlfriend, the guy who has the superpowers girlfriend.
Yeah, I know. What the? And his little brother's connected. He said
his little brother's connected in a way that he can open up portals. He just has
we're breaking this shit down. Yeah. They're breaking that. Is dope. That's the shit I like to hear about.
That's a Men of Letters type shit right there.
Men of Letters. We're hunters, so I want to know. I want to know how to fight shit. But hey, man. I appreciate you joining me, Rashad, doing this shit. You know, with our side quest, checking some shit out, reacting to shit. So please like, subscribe, shout out, Dubby, and yeah, peace.